Hello, y'all out there in Wonderland. My name is Michael Hatcher. I'm the pastor of the Lighthouse Community Church, and I've been serving the Lancaster Street, where predominantly where the homeless hang out at. And so many times you hear wonderful stories, but I happened to run into Michelle, and she asked me if I knew her mother out on Lancaster Street. And Michelle will give you a little testimony about her mother on the street and how that affected her and her life. And really, this is a great story as we look and go out and serve the public out there, willing to get outside of our comfort zones. There's many stories that are out there to be told. If you look at Michelle, you wouldn't think that Michelle would have a mom who was homeless on the street, because so many times we judge people from the outside appearance. Michelle, how did your mom end up on the street?
Well, it started out as a life choice to become a bartender, and she got into, just the party lifestyle, drinking, always around people who were drinking. Became an alcoholic, and just took it to the next level. After that, she started doing drugs and played around with, the small stuff, and ended up getting into the hard stuff. And after that, it just kind of took over.
How did that affect your life?
Well, it affected my life profoundly, because it changed my mom from a young, loving mother into a drug addict who was abusive and who, caused chaos in our life and moved us all over the place. And, and consequently, because of the places that we lived in and where we were going, I ended up walking the same path for a while, started doing the same things, running with the same people, and had a profound effect on my life.
Well, how did your life change? You said that you started going down that path, and how did you change? How did your life change?
My life changed, actually. Where the real change began was, I got into the lifestyle, and I was drinking heavily, partying a lot. I was medicating my pain from my childhood, and I actually got pregnant, and I had a baby girl. She's 20 now, and because of where I was in my life, I was not at a place where I could take care of her, so I ended up placing her for adoption. And that profoundly, it changed my life, because I realized that I wanted to be somebody that was worth finding one day for her. And the Lord got a hold of me in a profound way, and that's where it started for me.
Was your father involved in your life?
My father left when I was 2.
You think that had some effect on your life too?
Yeah, I was a girl looking for love in all the wrong places.
I can sing that song when I want.
I was looking for a man to love me, and that's how I ended up pregnant. It's how I ended up in some of the situations I was in, because I was just running around looking for somebody to care. My mom was out at night bartending. I was an only child, so I spent most of my days at home alone till 3 o'clock in the morning. And during that time, when I was younger, I was pretty responsible. I do my homework, did the things I had to do, and I would listen at the door for when the key hit the door. What night is this going to be tonight? Is she going to come in and be mad? Is she going to come in and fall down? Is she going to come in and cry? So I spent my life in the fight or flight responsive fight for so many years, and didn't have that dad there to protect or take care of me, or that type of situation. So it was a profound effect on my life.
What would you tell young ladies who are going through this predicament right now?
With their parents? I would tell you that you don't have to go down this road. There's hope for you. There's hope for your family. The Lord loves you and has a plan for you. I'm married now, and I have 3 beautiful kids, 2 beautiful kids with my husband. I have a relationship with my daughter who's 20, and she's a wonderful girl who walks with the Lord. And what I would say is that there is hope, and there is somebody out there who will love you. His name is Jesus, and then he'll bring other people that will actually love you too. And like for me, it's been in a form of a husband and in a church family, and that you don't have to be anything. You don't have to be what your mom has been. You don't have to be what your parents have been. You can be what God wants you to be, and that is his kid who's highly favored and loved.
You said that the Lord brought you out of this, and He's kept you safe, and now you have beautiful children. Now you're married again. You have a relationship with your daughter and that's wonderful. What do you think God has saved you from this? He's strengthened you through this. Do you think that this is maybe a ministry that you might want to help other ladies who need this, young children who are out there?
Oh yeah. And I've been praying through that, for me, and we have done that in the past. My mom, as I told you earlier, recently died 2 years ago, so I've had to kind of lay low for a little bit just to let him, do some stuff with my heart, because it really affected me hard. It was very sad to me because she never did get better, and I finally had to realize she did ask the Lord into her heart, and I think that she really wanted to walk with the Lord, but she had, was just very ravaged. And so I finally had to come to the point where she realized that his mercy was that he took her home, and so now my prayer is, okay, what is it that you want us to do? We've done different things. We've done, we've helped in homeless ministries. We've given out food. I remember doing that even as a late teenager after I gave my heart to the Lord, well, actually, I guess that was around 20. But so I do have a heart to do that, and we'll see what form that takes place, how that plays out.
So your mother was on the street for how many years?
Well, she was on the street multiple times. She's been on and off of the streets since, well, let's see, she died in 2008, and she was on and off of the streets since about 89. So, there were multiple stints of being on the streets. And then in between those times, it would just be, living maybe at a drug house or with, multiple people somewhere around here off Lancaster. So,
what would you tell the church who happens to run into women like your mom on the street? What would you tell them 3 things they would need to do for ladies on the street?
Number one, I would say just understand that they're somebody's mother, they're somebody's daughter, they're somebody's granddaughter, that they come from somewhere just like your children do, and there's a reason why they're where they're at. And she has a long story, and that didn't come, she didn't get to that place easily. She got to that place because of a lot of hurt, and to remember that they are people that have families. The other thing I would say is that we need you, because as a family member of somebody who's going through that situation, there comes a time where your hands are kind of tied, because if you get involved too much, like in my situation, if I got involved too much, that would mean abuse for me. And so there came a time where I had to pull away, because otherwise I would be abused. So we need people in the church. I would pray for people in the church to come to her, to reach out to her. And then I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of people. They may have a hard exterior, but they're all kids inside, just like we are. They all were babies. They all grew up with a mom and a dad, and there's something in them that's broken. They got stunted somewhere. And it just, a little bit of love goes a long way, showing them that they're valuable people, because they don't feel valuable. They're very ashamed. They're in such a layer of shame that they can't even see out most of the time. So for somebody to come along and treat them as a valuable human being, that's a big deal. It has a big effect on them.
Michelle, thank you for stopping by the Soul Cafe to share with us, your life story and your mom, and we'll continue to pray for you as God opens up the door for you to do ministry out there. As you heard from Michelle, she's challenging the church to really get involved in people's lives. You run into someone out there on the street, look at them in a different light. So it's a great opportunity for us to be the church. Thank you for stopping by the Soul Cafe. Bye-bye.